Hey guys, my name is Kelsey and I'm Creative Arts Director here at Venture.
My name's Matt. I'm worship pastor here.
And we had the privilege of being a part of the writing of Your Church, the newest Venture Worship single.
Yeah. I think back to how it happened, getting ready to do, because of COVID and everything, an online thing with college students. And it was basically like shooting me and you in the North venue. That was the piano over there. I had my guitar. And we just sat down and played through Thank You, Jesus, because that was the song at the time. And just as a side note, I had recently gone to the beach and got severely sunburned. So my forehead was gigantic and red.
Bulging.
It was awesome. It was crazy. Woke up bleeding one night. That's besides the point. We sit down, we're playing Thank You, Jesus, and Kelsey's like, I heard this old Hillsong song from a while back they used to play that I thought had the coolest rhythm. And I'd like to kind of write something with a similar rhythm, but just different. And she started playing this awesome thing on piano. And I was just like, well, that's really, really cool. It's not very often that we write a song where music kind of dictates a lot of stuff. Yeah. But this was kind of the first time that really happened. So.
Yeah, and so we played through it a little bit and just kind of played around with the chords and the rhythm. And Matt was like, well, what are you thinking, thematically, what could this song be about? And I think I said, I've always loved the concept of walls, and the fact that God can't be contained in a space, and he's so much bigger than that, and he's bigger than us and our problems. And so I just said, something with walls. And honestly, that's kind of where it started. And I remember in that moment, I don't think a song has ever developed that quickly.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It really just started kind of writing itself. And I love the way that you've said it before, we kind of found this song.
Yeah.
I don't think it was anything of us or our own power or strength. I really think just God led us to it because of the season that our church was in.
Yeah, for sure. I remember sitting down and you kind of bring that thought to the table, and it's just kind of you're tying two things together, figuring out okay, we're in a worldwide pandemic, and with craziness going on, we're literally meeting through Instagram and Facebook, and that's how church was happening at the time. And just her whole concept of walls, well, then it came to this in itself, what we're doing right now is the church. It's not the building, which kind of sparked that fire to begin with. And like Kelsey said about finding a song, very much the thing, right? So it just kind of felt like it was waiting for us, and we got to it. So
yeah. And cool. Matt, he would never say this about himself, but he's so gifted with lyrics, and I feel like I kind of have a strength in music, and Matt's strength is with lyrics and with writing. And so I don't know, just even the lyrics came easily. I know we kind of hashed out a few phrases here and there, but for the most part, we had a really solid version of the song before we left that night. Yeah.
I think too, a lot of writing too, to just encourage anybody trying to do it, or if you're stepping into that phase of life and want to see if that's something you can do musically, don't think that it's difficult in the sense of don't make it more hard than it has to be. It's very simple. A lot of times, and this may come across as sacrilegious to somebody. If it does, I apologize. But if you're in the Word of God and you're spending time with God, you don't have to look at a Bible verse to sing a truth.
That's good.
He'll meet you where you're at and remind you of that truth. And that's kind of what happened with this song for the both of us, right?
Yeah.
Just figuring it out lyrically, just being honest with where we were at as a people and as a church. I've been, at home with my wife, driving her absolutely crazy because she's perfectly fine with chilling at the house, not doing anything. I'm a 7, I'm not. So, quarantine for me was kind of crazy. And just being able to have something like that truth that's so powerful come out of it. It's a simple truth. But look for the simple truths in songwriting. Look for the simple truth that God is trying to share with you day in, day out, and work from there. So
it's crazy how kind of being contained in quarantine ourselves, not being able to do what we feel like God created us to do. We can worship. You can worship wherever you are, but just not being able to be together with our team or each other or see each other and play music. It's just how funny that when that's taken away from you, when you finally are able to do that again. I think that's part of the reason why the song came so quickly, because we had just been kind of in this dry season of not being able to do that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we're able to come back together, and God's like, well, here's what I want to bring out of this time. And so that part was really cool.
Mm-hmm. I think anytime we do anything and people listen to it, regardless of how many people listen to it, the thought that God kind of lays on my heart is, and that I remind myself of, is just, are they hearing a message through the gospel, through the Word of God that's been inspired by the Word of God, and are they impacted by it, period? Like if they hear it one time and that's the only time they ever hear it, but they hear the phrase, if those walls couldn't hold you then, they're not going to hold you now. If that grave couldn't keep you in, it's not going to hold me down. If anybody can hear that phrase just once in their life and be like, man, I remember hearing that one time, and that stuck with me. That's what it's about. It's not about how many people hear it or how successful anything is. And when we write music, when we do any of this, we do it with Venture Church in mind, right? And we do it with our people and their stories and where we're at as a church, because this song is about our vision and mission. It's about being the church and loving others. And I just think it's kind of like the icing on the cake whenever more people want to listen to it. It's just a blessing. But yeah, that's kind of where it is for me. It's a really cool experience. And it's great that a lot of people want to hear it, but it's just like what God told, Isaiah in Scripture, like, hey, I want you to preach into the nations until no one hears it, right? Until everything's gone. And he straight up told him, like, it was right after Isaiah's like, hey, God, send me, I'll go. And he was like, okay, you're gonna speak to people who will never hear you and never see anything you do, but you're gonna do it anyway. And I think that's kind of where we're at. When God calls you to do something, you don't have the outcome in mind, right? God called you to do it, and that's enough. And I think that's kind of where we're at with songwriting and doing that for our people and for the church. So
I don't think it's a coincidence that this song happened when it did, and that it happened before our pastor kind of cast this vision for our church publicly, because I think that speaks to God's provision and like his ordinance of things, and the fact that he knows, the past, present, and future so much better than we do. And I think even then, like, he was planning for this to be part of the house church strategy. And I don't think there's a better picture of what this song sings to than house churches.
Yeah, I mean, we wrote it April the 16th.
Yeah.
So it was 2 months before we even, really looked at the idea of house churches.
And in fact, I remember, like, in passing, telling Pastor Jeff, like, he was telling me about this concept of house churches, and I said, we have a song about that, right? And I mean, he was just like, you're kidding. It's crazy. Y'all are ridiculous. And so it just, but it's not us. It's not anything we do. It's God, and he knew. And so house churches are a beautiful picture of taking the church outside the walls, because we take the 4 things that we do here, inviting, investing, impressing, and igniting, outside the 4 walls of this building and taking them out into the community. And that's what house churches are all about.
In this season specifically, you are the church, right? You are the representation of God. There's Matthew, Mark, Luke, John in your life, and most people don't read the first 4 books. So how are you living to be like Jesus, and how are you loving others? Is the big thing, because I think there's so much just division in the world and craziness and dissonance, and it's about how you can do what doesn't make sense and love people regardless, right? And that's not with any agenda. That's not so that people will come to your church or hear your songs. It's so that people can just be loved and there not be a reason why. That's the responsibility God's kind of given us. And I think that's the bigger message with a song or anything is, especially with your church, is just like what Timmy said a few weeks back in his message. We just can't be complacent, with where we're at. We can't be okay. We can't ever be okay. We've got to just strive for more and see God move. And that to me is the overall arching theme behind the whole thing.
To me, for people listening to your church, the message I would give is just that, to me, the song speaks to this idea of not being qualified. And a lot of us feel that, right, because of our past, or because of, because we don't have certain characteristics, or because, we can't speak from the platform, or, we don't have influence because of these reasons. I think your church kind of blows all that up, because it just says, if that grave couldn't keep him in, it's not going to hold me down. And that includes your failures, the reasons why you think you're not qualified. Like, I mean, he's called each of us in a different way to be a light wherever we are. And so my message would just be, don't let those things hinder you or keep you from stepping out and being a church wherever you are.